Hello and welcome to episode 22 of Zero to Hero. Yes, welcome back to episode 22 of Zero to Hero. I'm Wes, and in today's episode we'll be taking on local rivals Salford and Hartlepool in the Vanarama National League. Now, since you were last with me, it's been an awful start to the season. We have been underdogs in pretty much every game we've played so far, and we're proving why we weren't ready to make the step up to the Vanarama National League. Since our last episode, where we lost 4-1 in our opening game of the season against Eastleigh, we then lost again at home to Whitehawk. We lost 5-2. The only goals coming from Jason Gilchrist and Lewis Robles, the two strikers that were so good for us last season. We then followed that up with our first win of the season, 4-3 away from home against Nuneaton. And the winning goal came from Jason Gilchrist, but we had two goals from Lewis Knight in that game and an own goal from one of Nuneaton's players. We then followed that up with a 2-1 away loss to Torquay, another goal from Jason Gilchrist in that game. We then followed that up with a 3-1 home defeat to Tranmere. We were actually down to 10 men for the last 40 minutes of the game, because 5 minutes into the second half, our Brazilian striker Marulio got himself sent off. But Jason Gilchrist again managed to get a goal back for us, but it wasn't enough. We then followed that up with another loss, 4-2 at home to Aldershot. Goals from Marcus Wood and Jamie Grimes in that game, and we were also down to 10 men in that game. Marcus Wood got himself sent off in the 66th minute, and the only goal that was scored after that was Aldershot's fourth goal, a penalty. We've been giving away a lot of penalties this season, and if it wasn't for a few fantastic saves from Owen Brooke, we would have been losing these games by a lot bigger margin than what we have. We then lost another home game against Guiseley. We managed to get back into it. We lost 3-2 in the end. We were 2-0 down, and Lewis Knight managed to get a goal back for us in the 65th minute. We then pushed on. Unfortunately, we gave away a penalty in the 81st minute, which they converted, and then Lewis Knight could only get us another consolation goal in the second minute of stoppage time at the end of the game. But then we recorded our second win of the season, again away from home, this time against Newport County, and it was a stoppage time winner from none other than Lewis Robles, the other goal coming from Jason Gilchrist in that game. And it was a great win for us because it took us off the bottom of the table. But we then lost our last game 3-0 away from home. We were convincingly beaten by Accrington Stanley, a team we were expecting to lose against. They are a strong side. But today, like I said, we'll be taking on Salford and Hartlepool, both at home games. Salford are currently third and Hartlepool currently first in the league. So again, we are not favourites for either of these games. We've got a few injuries as well, which I'll tell you about in a moment. But first of all, I've got some transfer news. And as the title suggested, there is a familiar face amongst us again. We managed to re-sign Jack Blackford on a free transfer. The 22-year-old English winger that was playing so well for us the last two seasons. We finally managed to re-sign him, and he's now got a current ability of 3.5 stars and a 4.5 star potential ability. And he's been straight into the side since he came back in. We managed to sign him on £500 a week, which is a lot better than what we were previously negotiating for him. He was looking at least £1,000 a week, and we just couldn't justify spending that much money on a player like him. But we managed to negotiate something a bit more realistic for him. Although when you see one of my other signings, you'll think, well, why have I paid so much money for his wages? But we managed to sign Dean Ward on a free transfer, 18-year-old English defensive midfielder, because we were playing with a defensive midfielder. We swapped around the tactics and played a 4-1-2-3 formation with an anchor man in front of the defence, and it worked out. It was the first game we tried it in was the game that we beat Nuneaton in, but then it didn't work in any of the other games we played. So we have gone back to our original tactic with the advanced wingers in the 4-4-2. But anyway, Dean Ward is a 18-year-old English defensive midfielder, 1.5-star current ability, a 3.5-star potential ability. He came in on a free transfer from Man City. He's in our under-18s at the moment. Hopefully he might be able to realise some potential. We managed to sign Joel Kaduba on loan from Aston Villa, a 19-year-old English defensive midfielder. When we decided to play with a defensive midfielder, I instantly went out and looked for some decent defensive midfielders, because the only player we had that was at all comfortable in that position was Pozo, and I didn't want to play him as a defensive midfielder because he's so good going forward. I didn't want to waste his talents as a defensive midfielder. Finally, we managed to sign Carl Lawson on a free transfer, a 26-year-old English striker who actually prefers to play. He's more natural as a winger, but according to his profile, he prefers to play as a striker. He's got a 3-star current and potential ability, and he's the player that I was telling you about. His wages were way more than what I wanted to pay for him, but I have used him on previous Football Manager games, and he's been a decent striker at this level. He came in on a free transfer from AFC Fylde, who are also in the National League. Over the last 3 seasons, he's made quite a few appearances for them. His average rating's been okay, not scored many goals, but I believe they were playing him as a winger while he was there, because he's been weighing in with a lot of assists as well for them. So we will give him an opportunity as a striker. Although his contract says he's a key player, he's playing a bit of backup at the moment because Gilchrist is playing very well, and I don't want to drop him out the side at the minute, and Robles has been playing better the last few games, so we're going to continue with those two for now, and hopefully Carl Lawson can break into the side pretty soon, because I don't want to be wasting all that money on him for him to sit on the bench for too long. We have played him, he has made a couple of appearances for us, but as a winger, and he didn't play very well, so we're going to try him as a striker later on in the season, maybe even in today's episode, depending on how things go. So we're going to move on to our first match of today, and that's against our local rivals Salford. We currently sit in 22nd at the moment, level on points with Nuneaton just above us. But I think we're 3 points from safety, so we are 3 points from safety. So we need to try and string some wins together. We're 3 points behind the ratio of 1 point per game that I wanted to keep throughout the season, but we will hopefully be able to pick up some more wins later in the season. So we have gone with, in fact, we are playing Lawson as a winger today. We're going to give him one more chance as a winger. If not, then Lewis Knight will be coming back in for him. So we're going with back to our old formation that you saw in the last episode, and we've gone with Brook in goal, Donnelly, Blackburn, Sharon, Grimes and Ryder at the back, Pozo and Wood in central midfield, Blackford and Lawson on the wings, and a front two of Gilchrist and Robles. Yeah, we're going with a control mentality rather than attacking, to try and stop ourselves from conceding so many goals. We're gone with a flexible team shape rather than structured. And the team instructions of retain possession, drop deeper, close down more, be more disciplined and a higher tempo. I have been trying to play on a counter mentality just recently, but it hasn't really worked. And seeing as we're playing at home for the next 2 games, I'm going to try the control mentality because we've scored more goals on the control mentality purely because we attack more. On the bench we have Lewis Knight, Darren Cool, Dylan Levitt, Joel Kaduba and Murillo. Yeah, we really need to try and perform better in the league because we are really, really struggling. I've tried making signings where I can. I am in the process of looking for a new goalkeeper because although Brooks been fantastic for us the last few seasons, he's seems a bit out of his depth. And as you can see, he's just conceded a goal only a minute and a half into the game. I mean, that all the teams in this league seem to be so much better than us. Our defence has been absolutely shocking this season. Sharon has been awful. Dean is out injured at the moment. Grimes has been average and the press have been getting on his back about it, but I've defended him saying he's still adjusting to life here at the club and we can't expect him to perform straight away. And once again we were defending, but luckily their shot went wide. We're defending again. Donnelly Blackburn won the ball in defence. Ryder with the ball forward to Robles. He's through on goal. Can he score? I think he hit the post there. Robles from last season would have scored that 9 times out of 10. He's one that's been struggling to make the step up. He's not been playing too well the last few games, or the first few games of the season, which is why we've been experimenting with a 1-striker formation. And Gilchrist, who just had a shot over the bar, he's been able to make the step up. He's looked confident and he's been scoring goals. He's our top goal scorer at the moment. I think he's on 5 goals in the league at the moment. But unfortunately, it's our defence that's the problem. And once again, I'm showing you this by losing 2-0 now to Salford. Yet again, the Salford attack just playing straight through us. The marking's just all over the place. And I think maybe, as well as looking for a new goalkeeper, I need to look for some new centre-backs. Because the ones I've got are supposed to be good, and they're not. I mean, I think we're really missing Charlie Walford at the back. He's still out injured. He's still not going to be back for at least another 2 to 3 weeks. And I think by that time, our season might be all but over. Because we are just so out of touch with the rest of the league. Gilchrist with the ball and shot wide. He would have scored that last season. We weren't playing against such good opposition, but we managed to beat teams that were higher in the leagues than us. I mean, we beat York last season in the FA Cup. So I don't understand. And I mean, York are playing quite well this season. They're in and around the playoffs. They've obviously improved their squad this season, but I mean, we need to get some wins on the board, and because I don't think this is a relegation battle that I can win this time round, and I think if things carry on the way they're going, we're going to be relegated quite early on. And I think I may have taken FC United as far as I can, and it might be time to look elsewhere for a job, somewhere with a bit more money and influence where I can bring in better players. And with 3-0 down, 60 minutes in, and it's like they're playing a practice game against their under-18s, and we're just awful. We managed to defend a corner there, but I mean, I'm going to have to make some changes. I mean, Sharon's on a 5.9, and that is just ridiculous. But we don't have a centre-back on the bench. I think Donnelly Blackburn can play in central defence. Not very well, but we can bring on Darren Cole for Sharon, get him off the pitch as quickly as possible. Robles, our captain, not playing well either. I think Marulio is going to be coming back on. First game back since his suspension. We're going to play him as a defensive forward on support rather than his favoured position of target man, and we're going to play Gilchrist as an advanced forward. He's not playing very well either, but he's been in good form this season. And I'm going to bring on Lewis Knight for Blackford because he's not playing well. We're 69 minutes in, and we've had quite a few shots. We've had 9 shots, 3 on target, compared to Salford's 10 shots and 7 on target. But we've got more possession. So we really should be making these chances count more. We're just dawdling with the ball, I think. I did want to change the mentality and go on to attacking, because we're 3-0 down, we might as well. We're going to go fluid as well. And we're going to pump the ball into the box and go more direct, be more expressive. We're going to push the defensive line up a bit more, and we're going to close down much more. And we are going to exploit the flanks, because I think that's something we've been missing this season. I'm just stuck for what to do once again. I've signed players that I thought were better, or that were as good as the players that we had before. The players that played so well last season. And obviously that isn't good enough even for that just one league high. I mean, you've got a load of football league sides in the National League, in the Vanarama National League. That is full time. We have lost 3-0 at home to Salford. Okay, so we're ready for our next game against Hartlepool, who are first in the Vanarama National League. And as you can see, we've gone with a completely different formation and quite a few different players from the last game. I'm just giving this a trial at the minute. It's not something I will probably continue with. But we've gone with a starting 11 of Can in goal, a back 4 of Cool, Grimes, Sharon and Ryder, Kaduba playing as the anchor man, Blackford and Knight as wingers, but deeper than they were in the 4-4-2, and Levitt and Cooper playing in behind Marulio. I'm hoping this will give us the defensive stability that we get from having the defensive midfielder in behind, in front of the back 4. The wingers playing deeper will prevent our wings being flooded with balls from their wingers, and hopefully make us a bit better at tracking back, and also giving us enough attacking oomph to score a few goals. I'm going with a standard mentality, structured team shape and no team instructions for now. We're just going to feel this game out as we go along and make changes where we need to. I mean, things can't get much worse than they already are. I mean, we're 22nd in the league at the moment. We're in the relegation zone with still 3 points from safety. Nuneaton and Accrington both 3 points ahead of us. So even a win today might not guarantee us coming out of the relegation zone. I don't expect us to win either, because we're playing the top of the table side in Hartlepool, who have league experience. So, I mean, they're on 27 points, we're on 7, as things stand. That's if this ends as a draw. So, I mean, we're 11 games into the season, we've only won 2 games. It's not good. We're actually 23rd, not 22nd. Dagenham and Redbridge moving above us as things stand, and we're already 1-0 down, 14 minutes in. I did play Ted Can for a couple of games earlier in the season, and he didn't play very well. But I let my assistant manager pick this side to see if he has any more luck than I have had at picking a side that could possibly win. So far, he's not filling me with confidence. But there's a long way to go in this game yet. Marulio has been complaining about lack of first team football. The fact that he was suspended doesn't seem to have got through his skull. Hopefully we can play well. If he plays well, then he'll keep his place in the team. But if he continues at the rate he's been going, then he won't be in the side for very long, and he'll keep complaining. We have a highlight. We're defending again, and we're 2-0 down. Ted Can showing why he's our backup goalkeeper and not our first choice. He should have done a lot better with that shot. It came out from a long way out. He didn't really have anybody blocking his view. He should have. His positioning was all wrong. He should have been in a better position. And we're 2-0 down, and it's coming up for half time now. And I think we're going to be making a few changes early in the second half. We've only had 2 shots and none of them have hit the target so far, which doesn't fill me with any confidence with our attacking threat. But hopefully, like I say, second half we can at least threaten the goal and get a shot on target. I mean, Hartlepool have only had 2 shots on target, and both of those were goals. We have had another shot, and surprise, surprise, not on target. For some reason, Blackford's shot down to 33% conditioning. I'm only guessing that he might have an injury. He has picked up a knock, so I am going to bring him off. I don't want him getting injured and spending a long time out, but we haven't got a left winger on the bench, which is troubling because I don't know what to do. We also haven't got a right winger on the bench because we could bring Lewis Knight over to the left, but it leaves us with the same problem. We have no right winger on the bench. I don't know if we have anybody who can play there either. I mean, I don't know about Cooper. Can he play there? Only about as well as Knight can. Pozo, can he play there? He's a little bit better. We'll give Pozo a shot at right wing for now. No, we don't want. I need to change that. Bring Knight over to the left. Bring Blackford off for Pozo. And I'm going to bring on Marcus Wood for Cooper. And I'm going to drop him back into the midfield and have him playing as a ball-winning midfielder on support. And I'm going to change Levitt into a shadow striker. Give him a bit more going forward, really. I can't really do much else. We're still on standard mentality. I've had a quick look at the jobs that were on offer in between the 2 matches, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing on offer at the moment this early in the season. I get the feeling the FC United job will be coming up soon if I can't change their fortunes, and I don't think I'm going to be doing it in this episode. We're 76 minutes in, we still haven't had a shot on target. I'm going to put us on attacking, keep us on structured, and I'm going to have us pump the ball into the box and leave it there for now. Still no shot on target. If we go an entire game without a shot on target, then I deserve to be sacked, quite frankly. 89 minutes in, we're into stoppage time. I'm going to make our final change. And Chris Speed is going to come on for Marulio. Marulio's not played well at all, only on 6.6. We're going to play Speed in his preferred position as a poacher. See if he can grab us a goal, even if it's just a consolation goal. He can't do much worse than anybody else has this season. But it looks like we're going to end this game without a single shot on target. And that is just ridiculous. Because we're over our allotted stoppage time, and that's it. We have ended a game, first time this has ever happened to me without a single shot on target. We had 3 shots in the entire game. I won't be using these players in the next match, that's for sure. We're down to 23rd, I believe now. Yeah, we are down to 23rd. We're now 4 points from safety. And looking at the run of games we've got coming up, I don't think it's going to make much difference. We've got St Albans, we've got Harrogate next, then we've got St Albans and FC Halifax, who are all lower half of the table, so these may be winnable games. Fylde as well coming up, who are 20th, so we could potentially pick up a win against them. Also Dagenham and Redbridge, who are in the relegation zone with us. We're going to play a few of these games behind the scenes. I think we'll come back for the York game, seeing as they're my old club, and we just happen to be playing my other old club, Barrow, straight away after that. So we'll come back for those 2 games. If you like that, please give it a big thumbs up. Please smash that like button. Please subscribe for more Football Manager 18 content, and thank you very much for watching.